Ready? Living in Canada, we take many rights and freedoms for granted. The right to have an education, for example, is considered a burden rather than a blessing to numerous young people throughout Canada. When we look across the ocean to Egypt, we can see young children willing to walk miles to go to school when we complain having to get out of bed. While at school, we are encouraged to speak out against what we believe is wrong and write about our opinions, whether it be about our favorite hockey team or the way our government dealt with a particular issue. This freedom is something that many people around the world are denied. If they attempt to speak out, they are jailed or even killed. This concept of having basic rights and freedoms denied to us is foreign, and yet it is an issue in many parts of the world. Such as Egypt, there are citizens that are deprived to the right of education, to clean water, to equality, and are denied the freedoms of speech and peaceful assembly.
Right to education. The right to education is important because everyone deserves the chance to learn so that they have the tools to be successful and advance. Without education, people have limited opportunities and are therefore often stricken with poverty. This right is being violated in Egypt as many children do not have access to educational facilities depending on a person's location. There may not be any schools that are within a reasonable distance. Currently, the government of Egypt is doing very little to solve this critical problem. Furthermore, many families who are struggling financially do not have the necessary resources to send their children to school. For these reasons, many children are forced to begin working at a very young age.
Last year alone, 3 journalists have been jailed for speaking out against the Egyptian government. The Egyptian government is censoring the media so that all citizens are blind to what's going on in their country. Imagine in Canada today, Stephen Harper and the Conservative Party only told us things that he wanted us to hear, that everything against them simply disappeared. The relationship between the government and the citizens would be severely damaged. Peaceful assembly. Peaceful protests are quickly transformed into brutal combat where the police do anything they want to do to the underprivileged citizens of Egypt. What if the government mistreated you and you wanted to show them how you feel by forming a protest that then turns into people being publicly beaten? The citizens of Egypt must be struck with fear, knowing that what they could say could be taken the wrong way by the government, they would be thrown in jail, or even worse, killed.
Equality rights. For the girls in Canada or people of a different race, you all feel and know that you are equal to anyone else living in Canada or anywhere else in the world. But for people of this type living in Egypt, this is not the case. They are discriminated against and girls are beaten and sexually abused. It wasn't until 2014 that there was any law at all against sexual harassment. How scary is that to think that only 2 years ago, girls had to go through life being worried that a man could take advantage of them at any moment. We need to help them and make everyone aware what is truly happening in Egypt.
Right to clean water. In Canada, we have so much fresh, clean water that we don't know what to do with it. We fill up water balloons to have play fights with. We even freeze it to play sport. But for people in Egypt, they settle for anything, even swamp water. We look at water as nothing. It falls from the sky. But for most parts around the world, it's liquid gold. They would kill to have a faucet that fresh, clean water pours out of non-stop. But the harsh reality is that the majority of them do not.